Thank you for joining me for Lesson 30, Session 3, Develop Writing and Interpreting Expressions. To start today, model each expression with counters. 3 plus 2 times 4 and 3 plus 2 times 4. Describe the calculations represented by each expression and then evaluate. Remember, evaluate means to solve. Pause and find your answer and then press play. Okay, looking at the first one, we are going to be doing the parentheses first. So that's this 3 plus 2 goes first. So we have 5 times 4 equals 20. The second one, we have no parentheses. So we have to decide whether we are going to add or multiply first. And thinking about PEMDAS, or order of operations, multiplication comes first before addition. So we would do 2 times 4 first. So 2 times 4 equals 8. 3 plus 8 equals 11. So this shows us how important our order of operations are and where parentheses are located, because we can get completely different answers. Try it. Make sense of the problem. Write a numerical expression to represent the following phrase. 15 minus the sum of 6 and 7. You know what to do. Pause and find your solution, and then press play to check. 15 minus the sum of 6 and 7. Minus means subtract. So we have 15 minus, and then it says the sum of 6 and 7. And so this right here, the sum of 6 and 7, would be written as 6 plus 7. However, if I just write it like this, I would be finding 15 minus 6 and then adding 7. And that wouldn't be finding the sum of 6 and 7. So I need to put parentheses around the 6 plus 7 to make sure that I have 15 minus the sum of 6 and 7. I want to make sure I have the sum of 6 and 7, not 15 minus 6. You can use a picture to help understand the problem. So here's our 15 counters minus the sum of 6 and 7. So here they're adding together the sum of 6 and 7. We want to make sure we do that first and then subtract from 15. You can think about what the words mean to help understand the problem. 15 minus means subtract, and the sum of 6 and 7, a sum is the result of addition, so add 6 and 7. Number 1, this is on Connected in your book, page 637. In the expression 15 minus the sum of 6 and 7, do you add or subtract first? And why? You would add first. You need to find the sum of 6 and 7 so that you can subtract that sum from 15. Number 2, when you write a numerical expression, how can you show which operation to do first? You can put a grouping symbols or parentheses around the part of the expression that has the operation that should be done first. Number 3, write a numerical expression for 15 minus the sum of 6 and 7. We have 15 minus, and I'm going to put the sum of 6 and 7 in parentheses so we know to do those first. Number 4, Harper wrote the expression 15 minus 6 plus 7 to represent the phrase 15 minus the sum of 6 and 7. Evaluate 15 minus 6 plus 7 and explain why Harper's expression is incorrect. So, following our order of operations, we have add and subtract together. It depends on which one comes first. And so this subtraction problem 15 minus 6 actually comes first in the problem. So that's the first thing that we would solve. 15 minus 6 is 9. And then we would add our 7 and get 16. She needs to put 6 plus 7 in parentheses so that she can find the sum of 6 and 7 first. Number 5, write a word phrase to show how to interpret Harper's expression 15 minus 6 plus 7. Subtract 6 from 15 and then add 7. Or we could say 7 more than the difference of 15 and 6. Number 6, reflect. Look back at your try it, the model it, the picture it. Which models or strategies do you like best for writing expressions? And explain. Number 7, we are now on page 638 as you're following along in your book. Draw a picture to show what the phrase 2 times the difference of 8 and 1 means. Then write an expression, show your work. Please pause and do the work in your book, then press play. So if we're looking at 2 times, that means we're going to be multiplying. Difference means we subtract the difference of 8 and 1. So looking at counters, the difference of 8 and 1, I'm going to draw 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And I'm going to take 1 away from that. That's a difference of 8 and 1. And there's 2 times that. So I'm going to do the same thing 2 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. The circles look a little better than the first ones. So 8 minus 1. Okay. And to write this as a numerical expression, we could say 2 times, and we want to find the difference of 8 and 1 first. So we'd say 8 minus 1. These parentheses are important because without them, you would be solving 2 times 8 first and then subtracting 1, which would get you a completely different answer. Number 8, write an expression for the phrase 6 plus the quotient of 15 and 3. Draw a picture to help if needed. Show your work. So 6 plus, we're going to be adding, quotient tells us we'll be dividing, quotient of 15 and 3. So we have to make sure we find the quotient of 15 and 3. That tells me we're going to be doing that first in our problem. So we have 6 plus, we're going to find the quotient of 15 and 3. So 6 plus 15 divided by 3. Now it does not say evaluate, so you don't even have to solve these. Number 9. Which phrase correctly interprets the expression below? 24 minus 1/2 times 3 plus 5. So here's our options. A, 24 plus half the sum of 3 and 5. B, 24 minus a half of 3 and then add 5. C, half the sum of 3 and 5 subtracted from 24. Or D, half of 3 subtracted from 24 and then add 5. So it's important. We're going to see what we do first in this problem. First, we have 3 plus 5, which is in parentheses. So we're going to be looking at an expression, a phrase, that tells us that we're going to add 3 and 5 together. So letter A, I see we have the sum of 3 and 5. So that one would make sense. Letter B, we do half of 3 and then add 5. So this one, we're going to cross this whole thing out because that one doesn't make sense. Let's see, half of the sum of 3 and 5. There's the sum of 3 and 5, so that one would work. Half of 3 subtracted from 24, then add 5. That's not finding the sum of 3 and 5. So we're looking at either A or C. Let's look at the rest of the problem. 24 plus half the sum of 3 and 5. So if we look at the problem here, we have a minus sign here, not a plus sign. So this one's not going to work. I'm just going to cross that guy out. Let's check C. Half the sum of 3 and 5 subtracted from 24. All right, so we would find 3 plus 5. And it says half the sum. And order of operations, we would do this multiplication here before we do the subtraction. So that'd be 1/2 times 3 plus 5 would be half of the sum of 3 and 5. And then that's subtracted from 24. 24 minus 1/2 times 3 plus 5. So this one makes sense. The answer is letter C. All right. Your assignment is the green pages, 639 and 640, and I have one extra challenge for you today. Thank you so much for watching all the way to the end of the math video and growing your brain and getting better at math and working through all the problems with me. If you would please send me an email with this code word. The code word is purple tornado. Again, the code word is purple tornado. If you email me that secret code word from this lesson, you will have a special surprise. I'll see you later for session 4.